Hey guys, welcome back. This time we're going to have a look at the Assistant tab, and I'm going to run you through what each of the features in here will do for you. So if we click Add, input the name of our assistant, click Create. Now inside the Modal tab, we have all of our model settings. So this is ChatGPT. This is going to be all of our prompt related things. So first of all, you can see we have the assistant name, and then we have the first message. This first message is what it sounds like when the user answers the call or makes a call. This is the first thing that your assistant will say to that user. The system prompt, this is going to be the main section of like what your assistant's goal or their objective is as the caller. For this example, they're set up as Mary's Dental. So this is a receptionist type assistant, and its main requirements here are to get the details of that appointment and that person calling. And then on the left here, you'll see the model. At the moment, we have two options there. They're both GPT models, 4.0 and 4.0 mini. Below that, you'll have temperature. This is the randomness of the system prompt. So this is how closely it's going to stick to the things that you're asking. The more randomness there is, the more there will be slight variations in each call. For the maximum length, this is how many tokens can be used during the prompts. So if you find that your assistant is spending too much money, this is something you can look at reducing. Words before interrupt. This one is how many words the user will have to speak before the assistant would be interrupted if it's in the middle of speaking. So if it's giving an answer to the user's first question, and this words before interrupt is set to 1, the user only has to say stop or just hello, or something like this, and it will interrupt that assistant. The assistant will stop talking in the middle of the reply, and then it'll listen to what the user has to say. The local time zone here, this can be changed for the assistant, and you can see we've got a couple options here. This just means that assistant is going to be working based off of that time zone when it's quoting any times. If we move across to the Functions tab, you can see the Tools drop down. This is where you're going to see all of the tools that you've created in the Tools tab. For example, we have this transfer call one. So if I click to add this and save, now when I'm using that assistant, it has access to this transfer call function. And so there might be some things that you have to do in the prompt to support certain tools. If you set up your own tools, you might not need to do that. For example, for this transfer call one, we would need to add some things inside the tools, like the phone number that we want to transfer to. And then inside the modal here, we would also have to add almost like an if statement there of who we want to transfer to, and then that number that we want to transfer to. And then during the call, if the user asks for that person and wants to transfer the call, this tool will be called on. Moving across to the voice tab, you can see we have the actual assistant voice. So this one's a little bit self-explanatory. If you change this one, it's going to change how the assistant sounds. And you can see small descriptions of like what each voice here is going to be doing. So you can see some characteristics. This one is male with an Australian accent, and it's a little bit dramatic. And so you can create the feel that you want by changing these. We also have the similarity, so this dictates how closely that AI is going to adhere to the original voice. We have the stability slider. This determines how stable that voice is going to be and the randomness between each generations. We also have the background noise toggle here. So the background noise, if you turn this on during the call, you'll hear office noises in the background. This can help to alleviate any feelings of gaps in responses. It can make the call feel a little bit smoother and a bit more natural as well. And then if we go into the advanced tab, we have our call webhook URL settings here. So the start call one, this is gonna call your start webhook right at the beginning of the call. So for example, if you had a data sheet, this would be calling right at the start of that call and using that data. This one is the end webhook call. Works exactly the same way. It's just at the end of the call, this is going to be calling to that webhook. So for example, if you got some information during that call and you wanted to save that somewhere, you would call this end webhook and it could save that to a Google Sheet or something like that. Then we have our call timeout settings. For the silence timeout, this is how long the assistant will wait before it hangs up if there's a long period of silence. By default, this is set to 30 seconds. You can increase this one. So for example, if the user, for whatever reason, puts their phone down and decides to leave, and you have this set to 1 minute, after a minute, that call will automatically end. Then we have the maximum duration. So this is the maximum duration that any call can last. So by default, this one is set to 10 minutes. So during that call, after 10 minutes has elapsed, the call will automatically end. And this can obviously be increased quite a lot. Then we have the transfer call voice toggle. So this one, when you're using the transfer call tool, there is a Twilio voice that lets the user know that they should hold the line while the call is being transferred. If you don't need this for your use case, you can turn that toggle off and save. Moving across to the analysis tab, we have what's called the summary prompt. So this one, once enabled, you can edit the summary prompt here. By default, this is summarize the transcript, which will give you a brief summary of what the call was about. So for example, you can do a lot of useful things here. You can ask it to summarize the transcript in dot points. You can use it to evaluate the mood of the call and see what the final result was of that call. So there's a lot of flexibility here, and there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with this setting as well. Just make sure you enable that one and then save. And then once your call has ended and the transcript is available, that will automatically be summarized for you, and you can access that in the analysis tab. All right, guys, that is the assistant tab. You can add also as many assistants as you like here. And if you have a large number of them, you can also search for them on the sidebar here. Alright guys, thanks for watching. In the next video, we'll be going over some of our other features for you.